Kia ora. Today we're talking about knife sharpeners. Now, knife sharpeners from a hunting perspective, not a butchering perspective or a chef perspective. And if you're anything like me, you don't go hunting because you enjoy sharpening a knife. You just want a sharp knife when you need it, okay? Because a blunt knife is a dangerous knife because you're pushing harder and you're fatiguing more, than you're doing more strokes, and you've got more chance of doing some damage, okay? So you want a sharp knife. Okay, so to get a sharp knife, we need to understand what's happening on the cutting edge. Okay, there's two ways to get your cutting edge sharp. Okay, which is sharpening with a stone, pretty much, and then honing with a steel. Okay, now you can go down some pretty big rabbit holes on the World Wide Web on how to use a stone and how to use a steel. I ain't going to bluff my way through that. I don't know. I've always just used these sharpeners. Okay, but what I do know is how the cutting edge works on a knife. Okay, so you can have this. Here's the angle of the cutting edge on your blade. For us hunters, we want a 25-degree angle in there. Okay, anything less than that and it's going to blunten too quickly. Okay, you start cutting through too much here or anything like that, it's going to blunten. Okay, but you would use something like that, a lesser angle for filleting knives or kitchen knives when you're just cutting tomatoes and fish, right? Okay, so us hunters, filleting knives, hunting knives, and anything more than that, that's what you'd put on your axe, okay, which we don't want, obviously. We want something that's nice and sharp and doesn't blunten too quickly, right? So we need to sharpen that cutting edge to a 25-degree angle, which is why you'd use a sharpener, okay? And then when you hit that hip bone, when you're taking the rear legs off a deer, what happens is you're cutting nicely through the meat, then you hit that hip bone and it goes bang. The end of that cutting edge curls over like so. That's when you use a honing steel and you go straight back up, give it a wee tickle up, and then you're good to go again. So you sharpen at home, hone in the field, okay? So to sharpen at home, it's all about consistency. Consistency of how many strokes in keeping that consistent angle all the time, okay? So these ones here, these rods are preset at 20 degrees and 25 degrees, okay, to make it idiot proof. And then what you do, put your knife nice and straight and pull it through like so. And once you've got, sorry about that, once you've got that angle right, and you've got that nice sharp edge and you do hit something that's going to blunten it, then you come over to the honing steel like so, okay? Now this is a bit cumbersome to be taking out in the field with you, which is why you use it at home, because it does need a flat surface as well, because you can't put that on a rock because then all your angles are skew with, okay? So what they've come up with is a combo one, right? These combos here, same concept as this bit here. It's got holes, preset holes down there that you stick the rods in, and then you can use that at home to sharpen your knife, sharpen it at home. Then when you're out in the field and you hit that bone, you have the honing one there, and that's small enough that just fits on the keyring. Pretty impressive that. This here is an eraser for when you're using these honing steels, these sharpeners here, you can clean it with that razor, alright? Because they do gun cut with the crap from your knife, okay? Now, when you're using these, there is the variance of human error, okay? Because too much of an angle, like so, you're not doing anything. Like that, you're going to be running the blade across it, okay? So you need to be consistent. So what they've come up with is a way to take out that variable of an inconsistent angle, which is what this does. This here, obviously, has the numbers up here, the degrees up here. Stick it in number 25, good middle of the road, and then just whack it like that. Now that's pretty basic, pretty easy, hard to stuff up. Same again on the other side. Put it in the 25-degree hole, and so on and so forth, like that. These do come with different size grit for if your knife is real blunt, you just get a higher grit to get that edge on it. Right. The only variable of these ones is how much pressure you're putting on it, okay? Too much pressure with my right hand there, what I'm going to do is I'm going to curl that cutting edge over, okay? And not be as efficient. So again, consistency. To keep that consistency, they make it even easier for us, okay? And they've come up with this. Now this is the Rolls Royce of knife sharpeners, and I mean it. This is an engineering marvel, okay? Because for someone like me, you can't stuff it up, okay? Very easy. You put your blade hard up against the guide like so, and just drag it through like that. And you can hear it working. You can hear it working, putting a nice sharp edge on this. This is very good because you can change these files to different angles. So you can get your 20 degree, your 30 degree. Of course, I've got it set at 25 to get a nice edge on it. All right. This here also has, you can flip these files over so it's got the honing, nice smooth side on the other. So when you're inside and you do hit the edge of the stainless steel sink, you can just give it a quick hone up on this. Oi. But of course, you can't really take this out on the hill because it is a bit big and bulky, okay? So what you get is these, a steel. Okay, instead of carrying these big heavy steels around, you can get one like this, which is compact and light and fantastic. I'm actually really impressed with how robust these ones here are. So you just put it out, spin it over, like so. And so this is once you've sharpened your knife at home, you've gone out in the field, you've knocked over that deer, and you've hit that hip bone when you're cutting that back leg off, and your knife's starting to get a bit blunt, right? So how I use these is I look down from above, so that way I can see the angle of the blade on the honing steel like so, okay? Like that. Now what I'm doing here is I'll do a couple of light ones till I get that muscle memory and I can keep a consistent angle. Once I can do a consistent angle, that's when I start putting a bit of pressure on it and really trying to push that wee bit over. Okay, so these are your sharpen at home, hone in the field. Hope you learned something. Do it.